guys, welcome to my week 3 review of the games that happened on week 3 of Super Rugby. I only really watched two games on the Saturday, but I caught the highlights of most of the other games on the Friday and the Saturday. So I'll start on the Friday. It was the Chiefs versus the Blues. The Chiefs won 27-21. I felt that the Blues, I thought they would win, not realising that they didn't have SPW but yeah, I did feel that they'd win, and I think the Blues have to win their next game. If they don't win their next game, they're in trouble. The New Zealand conference is so competitive that losing 2 games in a row, you're going to be left in the dust so quickly. So I think they would be desperate for the next win. I'm not sure who they're playing, but we can discuss that when I talk about those games. Then the Reds versus the Brumbies. I honestly thought the Brumbies were going to win. I didn't think the Reds were going to win. But yeah, they proved me wrong, destroying my Super Brew for the weekend. But yeah, we'll come back to that part. Then on the Saturday we had the Sunwolves versus the Rebels. I think the Rebels have really benefited from the forced leaving. They took most of their players, their coach. So it was a convincing win. 37-17 on the road is a very good win. The Crusaders versus the Stormers. It was interesting. I think going 31-7 points down at half time to such a powerful outfit like the Crusaders is just absolute suicide. They were never ever going to win that game after that. But you know, they did claw back and obviously lost 45-28, which is still a big score. I said the Crusaders would win by 14. They won by 17, which is pretty close to my prediction. But yeah, I think that Crusaders is such a great outfit. I do feel that they took the foot off the gas. They could start relaxing and playing however they wanted. I do feel the Stormers are missing Eben. They got 6s and 7s at the lineouts, and I think their scrum's still good. They've got a great front row. But yeah, I think they're missing the enforcer and that real go forward kind of leader, and that they're missing him. I think when he gets back, I think their fortune should change. The next game was the Waratahs versus the Sharks. All I can say is that the Waratahs didn't deserve what they got. I think the Sharks were a much better team on the day. It's just there were so many handling errors on both sides. And this is their second game of the season, and both of them had those kind of handling errors. I think they're really going to have to go back to the drawing board this week and really look at some skills kind of coaching, because it was atrocious. That first 20 minutes was really bad. But one thing I can say is, look, on your arm, he plays really good lines, and he hits that line at pace. You know, that first try that he did where he came in at the angle off, I think it was Robert Dupree ball, and it was such a good line and straight through the defence, and that's the way you have to play. If you're going to play that kind of style of rugby, you really have to hit the line at pace and at different kind of angles. And it was a set kind of move, but that they deserved that try. Yeah. Then we'll go into the Bulls versus the Lions. I predicted the Bulls were going to win by 3, but the Lions are good. I'm sorry, they are really that good. Yes, the Bulls, of all the South African teams, are the most improved from last year. That's what I can say. They're playing a much better brand of rugby, but I think they're still in a transition phase, and maybe only next year, maybe the year after that, will they start really benefiting from this different style of rugby. It's more expansive, more open play, lots more offloading, and look, I know Pollard wasn't supposed to start at 12, but I've read quite a few articles that it might be a good position for him to start at. I think England have done it with Owen Farrell having 2 pivots and having their major playmaker at 12, and it seems to work for them. And it gives him a lot more time to play heads up rugby. That kick that he did for the try was brilliant, and he looked up, saw the space, kicked the ball, scored the try. Now that's where we need a playmaker. So it might be something for them to look going forward. But let's get back to that Lions team. That Lions team is devastating. You know, when those 2 yellow cards came onto the Bulls got the 2 yellow cards, they smelt the blood in the water and they just went for it, and they literally punished the Bulls. The Bulls did claw back a little bit in the end, and look, 49-35 is that's big scoring game. But looking at that Lions side, you know, you have to score tries to beat the Lions. But you know what the scariest thing is? I watched that Lions side and I think they can actually get better. You know, they also had quite a few handling errors and they had a few issues on a few plays, but they can actually get better. And that's the scary thought. I look at the Crusaders, they can get better, and I've got a feeling that we're looking at a Crusaders Lions final again this year. Look, it's still early days in the season, but both those sides are just they pounce and they know exactly how to punish teams. Let me finish it. It's got the Jaguars versus the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes deserved that win. I think all the travelling that they've done, and they still pulled that out of the bag. I didn't watch that. I only watched really two games, and that was the South African Sharks versus the Waratahs and the Bulls versus the Lions. All I can say is that the Bulls are on the up. The Lions I think, are going to win the conference again on the South African conference, and I have a feeling the way they're playing, they should comfortably make the final again. Got Malcolm Marx, Warren Whiteley played well, and which is quite nice because they're quite a big part of my fantasy rugby league. So I think I scored a few points there. My Super Brew, I missed the wooden spoon by half a point, so at least in my pool I'm not the wooden spoon. But it was a great weekend of rugby. Later in this week I'll do my review for week 4, which are also quite a few interesting games. I think I'm looking forward to the Bulls because the Bulls away game. But I hope you enjoyed my show. If you do, please like it, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot. Cheers. Bye.